Reigning series champ Trevor Huddleston alongside Hailie Deegan back there in row 3. Mark Honkamp going to bring the pace truck down into the infield. Jade Avedizian now bringing the field through turns 3 and 4, looking at Joe Contreras' green flag. And folks, it is time to rock, roll, and rumble here at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. Avedizian to the inside. She's going to try to keep Hingorani to her outside through turns 3 and 4. Hingorani with a great start. He's going to use that momentum of that outside lane to come across and lead lap number 1. He does not clear Avedizian down into turns 1 and 2. She's trying to keep that number 70 to his inside, but again, Hingorani putting the power down. He will take the lead down the back stretch. Mason Massey in the 19 car trying to move to the outside. He wants to do the exact same thing. He's rolling to the top side. He's going to move to the outside of Robbie Keneally and take over third. So the top 3 cars have fallen into single file order, but there is the battle for fourth. Robbie Keneally to the inside of Trevor Huddleston. Keneally said they tried about 10,000 things on that car here in an open practice yesterday and figured out all of the things that didn't work. But they found the things that did work here today. Very confident in that Jans Racing number 1. Right now, Robbie Keneally slotted back in the 5th position. Here now, a battle for second. Mason Massey in the 19, going to dip the nose to the inside of Jade Avedizian down into turns 1 and 2. Massey was very confident after practice. Said, you know, we had the car a little too tight for qualifying, a little too tight to go fast for 1 lap. But this car is a rocket ship in race trim, and he is not lying. That 19 car looking really solid here in the early going. Mason Massey already up to second. And there's Sean Hingorani in the 13. Hingorani stretching out the advantage. In his first Arca Menards Series West race since 2024. First race since he locked up the 2024 Series Championship. And there's a good look at Mason Massey in that number 19 team. A retooled Bill McAnally racing team for 2026. That team struggled with a rotation of drivers in 2025 and eventually got to the point where team owner Bill McAnally said, you know, we're going to pull these cars off the racetrack. We're going to concentrate on getting our trucks through the Truck Series playoffs. We're going to reload and come out for bear in 2026, and that's exactly what this team has done. Both of those cars qualifying way up towards the front of the field, and right now Mason Massey on the charge as he's trying to track down Sean Hingorani. Sean's opened up about an 0.8 of a second lead in that number 13 car. Right now, just a 1-race deal for Sean Hingorani in this number 13. This team will have Taylor Reimer behind the wheel next week at Phoenix Raceway, and that race coming up on Thursday evening, folks. But Sean Hingorani looking at running some more races throughout the remainder of 2025. And this team, of course, the championship winning team, owners championship winning team back in 2024 as well. Team owner Kelly Souza and her husband Todd, of course, former driver of this number 13 entry. Looking for drivers. They told me today, hey, we've got an opening for Tucson. So if you know anybody who wants to come out and contend for the win at Tucson, have them call us. Right now, that 13 car looking very solid. And speaking of a solid run here right off the jump, how about this guy? 15-year-old Taylor Mayhew in that number 17 for Bruce Cook. Had to drop to the tail of the field because of a dead battery after qualifying. He's already raced his way up, picked up 10 positions since the drop of the green flag. Took the green flag in 22nd. He is now up to 11th. That 17 car looking really good here in the early going. Of course, this team, the Steve McGowan Bruce Cook team, also won an Owners Championship here on the West Coast back in 2023 with a multitude of drivers. Landon Lewis and Caden Honeycutt behind the wheel. And right now, Taylor Mayhew looking really strong. Of course, his father, David Mayhew, a multiple-time Arca Menards Series West winner in his own right. Going to jump back up to the front of the field. There is Sean Hingorani, and there's the gap between he and Mason Massey. They're in second. That gap has stabilized about a second right now. Sean Hingorani has added a couple of car lengths here, lost a couple of car lengths there, but the gap has remained between 0.8, 0.9, 0.10 of a second the last handful of laps. Talked to Sean Hingorani right before he climbed aboard that number 13, and he is feeling very confident. Does not feel like he has lost a step at all to the field, even after being out of the seat for nearly a full year. There is Hailie Deegan making her return to the Arca Menards Series West, and she comes in with a ton of confidence and a great attitude, kind of refocused herself on getting back in tune with racing stock cars. She spent, of course, 2025 racing in the Indy Next Series, the developmental series for the NTT Data IndyCar Series, and said, you know what, I want to come back and race in stock cars. I want to do it right. I'm going to do everything I need to do to get back into a truck, to get back into an O'Reilly Series car, and I'm going to go back to what I know works. She's back with Bill McAnally Racing. Of course, she won 3 races over the course of a couple of seasons with this team back in 2018 and 2019. Looking to recapture that magic here today. Right now, Hailie Deegan sitting back in 8th position. She's given up a couple of positions here at the drop of the green flag, but that car looking really solid. She's not giving up any ground on the racetrack, either to the car directly in front of her, Mia Lovell, our Bonnie Rookie Spotlight driver, nor is she losing any ground to the car directly behind her, that number 42 car of Jaden Reyna. So right now, Hailie Deegan happy to just log some laps, conserve those tires. We talked about that in our keys to victory here tonight. Hailie Deegan hoping that 16 car will be a factor late in the race. And if you remember here last year, it's kind of what her teammate Daniel Hemrick did. He was in the tire conservation mode in the early going, and that 16 car came to life in the second half of that race, and he made a charge to the front. So let's see if Hailie Deegan able to copy that game plan from this team last year. Leader starting to work his way through some of the tail of the field. There's Cody Dennison in the number 72 for Strike Mamba Racing. Late addition to the entry list. Cody says looking forward to joining us at Phoenix Raceway next week as well. Ooh, almost saw Hingorani slide up the racetrack and get into that left rear quarter panel right there, but nice job staying away. Here's a good battle for position. There's Jaden Reyna in that number 42. Feeling some heat from Bubba Nascimento there in the number 4. Eric Nascimento Jr. started 11th. This battle for 8th and 9th on the racetrack. I always like to tease some of the drivers down on the grid. And saw Eric during the autograph session, and I said, hey, I heard the car owner is going to give you $10 per car on your way to the front. And he said, no, I don't know why he told you that. It's $100 per car that I pass on his way to the front. Right now, based on his math, he's picked up $200 already from his dad, car owner, Eric Nascimento Sr., up from 11th starting position on the initial start, now currently running in the 9th position. Good early start to the day there for Eric Nascimento Jr. in the number 4. Look at that speed shot. Cars zipping by at about 100 miles an hour right here at the start-finish line. Great field of race cars. Every one of them still out on the racetrack right now, too. Clean and green so far through 27, make it 28 laps this time around. There's Robbie Keneally in the number 1, looking underneath Eric Reed in that number 66. Joey East making his return in the Mike Nink number 88 car. Joey having a really solid run, sitting in 6th. looking to run? He says he's looking to run the majority of the races. I don't know that they're going to contend each and every week for the Arca Menards West Championship, but I think we'll see Joey East in the majority of the races. And that Mike Nake team, long history with that team. This team had some success when Joey was running full-time back in 2021. There is the gap at the front of the field. Sean Hingorani now down to 0.6 of a second. That 19 car, as you can tell, kind of slowly eating into that advantage. First car off the racetrack, the number 51. Tough break for another one of our rookie contenders here today. Austin Barco making a start in the number 51, the other Strike Mamba Racing entry. Team under the hood. So Hailie Deegan closing in on Mia Lovell there in the number 15. Eric Nascimento to the inside. Look at that veteran move right there by Eric Nascimento, pinning Jaden Reyna in that number 42 car, pinning Jaden behind that 66 of Eric Reed. Very veteran move in traffic to pick up that position. So move Eric Nascimento now up into 9th. So they try to track down Hailie Deegan sitting in the 8th position. Oh, Eric Johnson Jr. off the pace here at the start-finish line. Eric Johnson Jr. off the pace in the number 5. One of the drivers we expected to contend for victory here today and to contend each and every week for the Arca Menards Series West Championship. See the lettering rubbed off that left front tire. Looks like he's got a soft left front tire. So Eric Johnson Jr. bringing the number 5 car down onto pit road as we've got another car sideways over in turns 1 and 2. Andrew Chapman going around. That'll put us under caution for the first time with 36 laps in the books here in the Oil Workers 150. So a bunch of action here in the last couple of laps. Coming back to the restart line out of turn 4. Let's see what happens with Sean Hingorani and Mason Massey on the front row. Hingorani with a great launch, and he's going to bring Trevor Huddleston along with him. Huddleston pulls alongside Mason Massey down into turn 1. Oh, Huddleston rolls to top side. He is going to take the second position down the back stretch. Can he clear Mason Massey off of turn 4? Indeed, he does. And now Massey will have his hands full with Joey East in the number 88. Not the restart that Mason Massey in that number 19 car was looking for. So Sean Hingorani jumping back out to the lead. He's going to bring Trevor Huddleston and Joey East along with Mason Massey, now slotting solidly into that 4th position. Jade Avedizian, the Sioux Chief PowerPex Pole Award winner earlier tonight, back in 5th. And there's Robbie Keneally in the number 1 for Jan Quackenbush in the 6th position. Joey East sliding way up the racetrack there in turns 3 and 4. Thought that was going to open the door a little bit as we see racing outside at the back of the top 10, I should say, between Mia Lovell and Jaden Reyna. There's the battle on for 3rd. Here comes Mason Massey back on the charge in the 19. Ooh, sawing on that steering wheel a little bit right there. Don't want to do that too much. Again, need to get these tires to lap 150. No scheduled tire changes here tonight. Joey East rolling the top side of the racetrack. Look at this. Jade Avedizian starting to look racy in that number 70. Jade's got a pretty solid race car. I think she's a tick quicker than both the 88 and the 19. She just needs to patiently work her way through this group of race cars. Joey East again way up the racetrack there in 3 and 4, opening the door. Can Mason Massey capitalize down into 1 and 2? Oh, that 19 car with a great launch through the center of 1 and 2. He is going to put the power down, but can't quite pull alongside the 88. I'll tell you what, Joey East rolling that top side really well, keeping the momentum up in that 88 car. We talked about it. 12 to 14 degrees of banking through the corners here. Joey East using more of that 13-degree banking in the center of the racetrack. Little bit more banking right there to keep that speed up and making it really difficult on Mason Massey there to the bottom side of the racetrack to work his way around. So meanwhile, while these cars all battle for position, and there are 5 cars all stacked up here, there's Joey East, Mason Massey, Jade Avedizian, Robbie Keneally, and Hailie Deegan has tagged on to the tail end of that line. While these cars all battling for position, Sean Hingorani and Trevor Huddleston have checked out. There's Hingorani. Ooh, look at that move. Hingorani way to the bottom side of the racetrack to avoid Toby Blanton in that 00 car. Toby making his Arca Menards Series West debut, just trying to find a way to get out of the way of the leaders. And Hingorani had to go way to the bottom side of the racetrack. I'll tell you what, we'll make that our first nomination for tonight's Reese's Sweet Move of the race. Don't forget, folks, log on to arcaracing.com Monday, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. See who we pick for tonight's Reese's Sweet Move of the race. This battle for third still raging through turns 3 and 4. There's Mason Massey. Now I'll tell you what, he's got himself to the door numbers on Joey East's number 88. It's got to be excruciating inside that 19 car, just taking forever to get alongside in this battle for third. Ooh, he's going to use David Smith. Another good veteran move right there by Mason Massey in that 19 car to pick Joey East behind David Smith, and he'll take over that third position. Good move right there by Mason Massey. Now he's almost back to where he was prior to that restart. I'll tell you what, back-to-back Reese's Sweet Move of the race candidates right there. That was a great move, and look at this. Oh, no. Robbie Keneally in the number 1. He is going to stop down inside of turns 1 and 2. That will put us under caution for the second time here tonight. Oh, boy, what a tough break for Robbie Keneally. We thought Robbie would be a contender for the victory here tonight, and that car has been solid. Some 8 laps down. Green flag back in the air. Sean Hingorani with the jump. Let's see what Joey East can do on that outside lane as he tries to sneak around to the outside of Trevor Huddleston. East rolling to the top. He's alongside that right rear quarter panel. East may be able to jump. Leapfrog past Trevor Huddleston into that second position. Great restart by Joey East. And he is going to take that second spot. Boy, I'll tell you what, that inside lane, not the place to be on these restarts. And look at how many cars. Everybody bunched up from second on back as Sean Hingorani starts to check out on the field. There's a good battle for position. Mia Lovell to the outside of Eric Nascimento in the 4. Jaden Reyna there in the 42. Look at this. We knew Trevor Huddleston wasn't going to be satisfied sitting there in second or in third for too long. He wants to get back up into second. Gave Joey East a little brotherly shove right there down in 3 and 4. Moved him up the racetrack, and Huddleston right to the inside, back into the second position. Let's see if Mason Massey can replicate that move in the 19 car as he closes in. Now we'll see if Huddleston in that number 50 is able to close the gap on Hingorani. Hingorani stretching it out right now. Already 0.8 of a second the gap in just 3 laps. As the battle on for third, Mason Massey again to the inside of Joey East. East back to 4th, and look at that, Hailie Deegan. We've seen her back as far as 8th earlier tonight. She has cracked the top 5 for the first time here this evening. There's Andrew Chapman in the 55. Saw him spin down in turns 1 and 2 to bring out the first caution flag of the night. Chapman making a nice recovery. As we've got another car sideways now over in turns 3 and 4. No contact. Mia Lovell in the 15. Doing a nice job keeping that car off the outside wall, but that does put us under caution for the third time here tonight. And I'll tell you what, folks, with 73 laps in the books, I think it's a pretty safe bet that this will bring us to our midway break. And indeed, confirmation from Brian Sanders and Jacob Stotts over in race control that this will be the break. So Hingorani on the hammer. Let's see what Huddleston can do with it down into turn one. Huddleston trying to keep that 50 car to the inside. Hingorani not going to allow it. He's going to pull ahead and dive down in front to cut Huddleston's charge off through 3 and 4. Here comes Joey East to the outside. He tries to draw alongside Trevor Huddleston, but can't make it stick. Huddleston now all over the back bumper of Hingorani off of turn 2. Hingorani going to stretch that advantage down the back stretch. East again drifting high through the center of 3 and 4. He will open the door for Mason Massey. Massey in the 19. Trying to retake the 3rd position. Here comes Trevor Huddleston at the front of the field. And look at this, 3 wide down the backstretch. Mayhew to the inside of Hailie Deegan. Avedizian to the outside. Jaden Reyna in the 42 in the mix. So is Eric Nascimento in the 4. Wow, some intense racing. Here's we kick off the second half of the Oil Workers 150. Now we need to get these drivers back into at least double file running order. Wow, that was some intense action. There is Jaden Reyna to the inside of Hailie Deegan. Talked to team owner Bruce Cook about Jaden Reyna a couple of weeks ago down at Daytona. He is very high on this young man's abilities. Thought we might have seen a little contact. Ooh, more contact there. Eric Nascimento into the left rear of Hailie Deegan. Deegan up the racetrack. Hailie with a nice save to keep that car under control. Just when I thought the 42 and the 16 might have gotten together, the 4 and the 16 get together. Ooh, Eric driving it in deep. Power slid that car all the way through turns 3 and 4. He's going to give that position up to Hailie Deegan in the 16. All right, back to the front of the field. Here is the battle for second. Mason Massey in the 19. Trying to work his way past the reigning Arca Menards Series West champion, Trevor Huddleston. Huddleston now pinned the outside lane. Ooh, you see Mason Massey sawing on that steering wheel. Does not want to get up into Trevor Huddleston at all. Do not need to do damage to either of those race cars, especially to that right front fender. Of course, that fender so crucial into the aerodynamics here on these short tracks. Great battle for second. You would see a slower car up in the distance. We've seen both of these drivers use slower traffic to their advantage. David Smith in the 05. Let's see where David goes. Let's see how that plays out for this battle right here. Ooh, they're going to catch him. David trying to figure out a place to go. Mason Massey going to pin Trevor Huddleston behind the 05, and he will take second. Another good veteran move right there by Mason Massey to take that second position. David was just trying to find a way to get out of the way there. Did not want to make the big bonsai move to the bottom of the racetrack at that point, so he just stayed right where he was. Mason Massey pinning Trevor Huddleston behind to take that spot. Look at this battle, folks. 6th, 7th, and 8th up for grabs. Jade Avedizian in the 70. Picked up the Suchi PowerPex Pole Award in qualifying. Has faded back to 6th in that number 70 car. Of course, one of the 3 Nitro Motorsports entries, the first of 8 races for Jade Avedizian on the Arca Menards Series platform here in 2026. Jade also will compete for the Appalachian Sucker Punch ASA Stars National Tour Super Late Model Championship in 2026. If you remember back, night number 2 of the World Series of Asphalt down at New Smyrna Speedway. Jade Avedizian became the second ever super late model female winner in the 60 runnings of the World Series of Asphalt. So she's already started the season with a lot of success. A couple of drivers going to battle right here. There is Jaden Reyna in the number 42 car. Jaden sitting in 7th. Hailie Deegan, after a couple of instances of contact on the racetrack, she was as high as 5th maybe 15 laps ago. Hailie has given up a couple of positions on the racetrack. She's now back in the 8th position. Both of those cars have had contact on the racetrack. The lettering rubbed off the left rear tire on both of those race cars. There's the gap at the front of the field. Sean Hingorani in the number 13. 0.6 of a second the gap on Mason Massey there in second. Boy, the Central Coast Racing Team, a long storied history as we take a look at the battle between Jade Avedizian trying to take 5th from Joey East. East to the outside. That car has been in that second groove all night long. Ooh, Jade driving him up the racetrack there a little bit. Little hip check there down into turns 1 and 2, and that will give her the preferred line. Move Jade Avedizian back up into the top 5. We're talking about the long storied history of that Central Coast Racing Team. Of course, team owner Kelly Souza and her husband Todd, the longtime driver of that number 13. Todd kind of transitioning out of the lead driver role the last couple of seasons. We've seen him in the team's second car a couple of times this season the last couple of years. Notably, as we've got a caution on the racetrack. Caution flag out on the racetrack for the 4th time here today. Don't see any obvious reason for the caution, so there may be some debris laying out on the racetrack. So the safety crew has moved out onto the racetrack. Caution coming out with 50 laps remaining, so that'll give us a good Saturday night feature yet to go here tonight. Why don't we go ahead and step away for a quick break? When we come back, we'll reset the field and get set to race to the checkered in the Oil Workers 150 live here on FloRacing. 44 more times around before we settle it here at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. Great restart for Sean Hingorani and an equally great restart for Mason Massey. Massey to the inside down into turn 1. He's going to try to stay even off of turn 2 and down the backstretch. Can he get to the bottom in turn 3? Hingorani rolling the top side. Massey doesn't want to give it up, but he's going to have to. Hingorani retakes the lead. Here comes Taylor Mayhew in the 17. An absolutely terrific run for Taylor Mayhew in that 17 car. From the back of the field to 3rd in 100 laps. And we have got a gaggle of race cars outside the top 5. Look at that. Huddleston's got Jade Avedizian to his outside. Deegan's in the mix. Everybody going at it as the sand quickly running out of the hourglass here. It's Cole Denton in the 71. Haven't had a lot of time to talk about this young man. Has joined the Jans Racing Team. Of course, the 71 car, the car driven by Kyle Keller last year. Saw him earlier today with his parents. Got a bright, a black and yellow with bright green uniform. I said, we will have no problem finding you during those driver autograph sessions. Very enthusiastic young man, and I think we're going to see a lot out of Cole Denton. Ooh, Trevor Huddleston giving Joey East the boot through the center of turns 3 and 4. He's going to move East up the racetrack. The battle for 4th and 5th. Huddleston does not want to lose touch with the front of the field. Sean Hingorani, he has got a quarter of a second in hand over Mason Massey. Taylor Mayhew about 0.8 of a second behind, and they have opened up about a half a straightaway advantage over this battle for 4th and 5th. There's Hailie Deegan to the inside of Jade Avedizian. These two have been going at it all night long. There's Eric Nascimento in the 4, alongside Jaden Reyna in the 42. Lots of great battling inside the top 10 as the laps slowly ticking away. We've talked about Mason Massey at length tonight. Does he have a race car to get up there and battle for the lead? He said, you know, we were a little too tight to go fast for one lap, but we think that race car is going to be set up just right for those long runs. And right now is the time. If you're going to have a long run race car, you're going to want it to come in right now. And that car looking really good. He has kept Sean Hingorani in sight. Just about a 3-car length gap as we are inside. Now 34 laps to go. There's Eric Nascimento going to battle with Hailie Deegan down into turn 1. Nascimento throwing the hip check down into turn 1. There's Hailie giving him a little shot there going into turn 3. Look at Jade Avedizian to the inside of Joey East. Jade wanting to work her way back up into the top 5. Taylor Mayhew in the 17, in 3rd, closing in on the top 2. Boy, some interesting occurrences throughout the field here tonight, folks. There's the battle 4th and 5th. I think Jade Avedizian finally, that's the battle for 5th and 6th. Jade Avedizian finally going to clear Joey East to take 5th. East back to 6th. Eric Nascimento in the number 4. He is in 7th. Hailie Deegan in the 16 sits in 8th. Let's see what happens here. I figured they were going to try to squeeze underneath David Smith there, but I thought Nascimento might have gone just a touch too high, but he made it work. The 4-car running that middle lane very well here tonight. Let's see if he gets that shot down the backstretch, and indeed he does. Going to keep Hailie Deegan at bay in the 16. All the while closing on Joey East in the 88 car. Every one of these drivers, by the way, wishing they could have taken 4 fresh tires at that midway break. Now 121 laps on these tires. These drivers wishing for some fresh rubber, but just 28 laps now this time around to the finish. We talked about our keys to victory: keeping those tires underneath the race car, not getting yourself in any trouble, and finding a way to beat Trevor Huddleston. Well, right now, 3 drivers are in front of Trevor Huddleston. Huddleston sitting back in the 4th position. Sean Hingorani, Mason Massey, and Taylor Mayhew all getting the better of Trevor Huddleston so far here tonight. There is the gap at the front of the field. Hingorani in the 13, making his first Arca Menards West start since he clinched the 2024 championship at Phoenix Raceway. Gave a lot of kudos to Michael Munoz and that entire team. Said, look, I've been out of a race car for over a year. They have given me a fantastic fast race car. I think we got a good shot to come out here win tonight, and he is backing it up. Boy, I don't want to make the pun, don't want to make that play out of words, but talking about backing up, there is Joey East in the 88 car. Saw Joey as high as 2nd and 3rd early in the race. He has dropped now to the 8th position, and I think Joey may have been one of those drivers who might have gone a little too hard, a little too early. The tires kind of giving up on that 88 car here with now 24 laps to go. Mia Lovell in the 15. Mia, of course, had that spin over in turns 3 and 4 right before the midway break. She has recovered. She's sitting back in the 10th position. There's Cole Denton in 71. You know, this is how I know you're talking to teenagers. You know, Cole was telling me about the bright green gloves that he was going to wear tonight in the race, and you'll be able to see them here as he's working the steering wheel off of turn 4. And I said, I don't know if you want gloves that you can see inside the cockpit, man. Don't you remember when Jack Sprague and Ron Hornaday got together in that truck race back at IRP in 1998? And of course, Cole wasn't born then, so he has no recollection of that story. So I need to update my references here, folks. Got to find some 2018 stories to tell instead of some 1998 stories to tell. But I'll tell you what, those of us who do remember the white glove incident recall those days with great fondness. There's Mia Lovell to the inside of Jaden Reyna. She's going to bounce off the 42 car and go around again over there in turn 4. And you saw that one coming. She tried to work her way down to the inside. Jaden didn't want to give her a lot of room, and she hit the apron, and that car jumped out from underneath her. So Mia Lovell with her second quick spin of the night on the same part of the racetrack. Taylor Mayhew alongside Trevor Huddleston. Jade Avedizian alongside Eric Nascimento to the restart line. Hingorani with the jump. Look at that restart by Trevor Huddleston, but look at that restart by Mason Massey. Massey's going to try to drive Hingorani up the racetrack. Massey to the lead off of turn 2 for the first time tonight. A new leader, Mason Massey to the point. Exactly what I said he was going to try to do. He drove Hingorani up the racetrack in turns 1 and 2. Mason Massey to the lead. Hingorani going to try to regroup. That car has been strong all night long. Can he get back to the back bumper of the 19? Mayhew there as well. Top 3 now single file. 12 laps to go for Mason Massey in the 19. And look at this gaggle of race cars. Eric Nascimento in the 4. He has jumped into the 4th position. Oh, we've got a car spinning, several cars spinning at the back of the field. And that will put us under caution, and this is not what Mason Massey wanted to see. Eric Reed and Alonso Salinas in the Joe Nava number 77 car getting crossed up over there in turn 3. So that'll put us under caution with 139 laps in the books. Mason Massey elects the outside, Sean Hingorani to the inside. We'll see if Hingorani remembers what happened on that last restart. Mason Massey on the go button. Down into turn 1. Let's see what happens with Hingorani to his inside. Hingorani going to move up the racetrack. He's going to get together with Mason Massey off of turn 2. Mayhew looking for some racing room to the bottom side. What happens down into 3? Mayhew to the back bumper of the 13 car. Mayhew trying to get to the front. Hingorani into the back bumper of Mason Massey. We're all stacked up for the lead. Here comes Nascimento in the 4. Intense racing with just a handful of laps remaining. Coming to 4 to go this time around. And look at Mason Massey in the 17. He wants to capitalize on all of that bumping and banging. Massey now holding the lead with 4 to go. Taylor Mayhew dropped to the tail of the field after an unapproved adjustment. The team had to replace the battery after qualifying. Mayhew has raced his way from 21st at the green flag to 2nd, now with just 3 laps to go. This young man in his Arca Menards Series West debut. Two to go this time around. Mason Massey also in his Arca Menards Series West debut, looking to become the 30th driver to win in his first series start. We've got a car in the outside wall down the backstretch. The caution flag coming out. Julian DaCosta in the outside wall off of turn 2 will put us under caution as we were coming to the white flag. And you know what that means, folks? Arca overtime here at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. And I'll tell you what, you can hear it. My voice is already blown. I think it's only going to get worse from here. That intensity we saw on that last restart, we're going to jack it from 10 to 100. We will have 2 laps to go. Green flag, followed by white flag, followed by checkered. Unlimited attempts. We will do it as many times as it takes to get a checkered flag finish. Let's take a look at what happened to the 25 coming off of turn 2. The 15 got a little tap, up the racetrack she went, and into her teammate. Oh my goodness. Oh, you talk about a tough break for Julian DaCosta. With a 15 car a little loose going into the turn. There's Gavin Ray and the number 7. Gavin already hugging the white line. Not much he could have done right there. Mia drifting up the racetrack and pow, right into the outside wall. And that will end the night for Julian DaCosta in the 25. So overtime we go. And again, unlimited attempts at a green, followed by white, followed by checkered. If the caution flag were to come out after the white flag is displayed, we will have unlimited attempts at a green flag and white flag together, followed by checkered flag finish. And based on what we've seen here, folks, I don't know that this is going to be the only one. I wouldn't want to bet on it. I'm not a betting man. I wouldn't bet on that. That last restart was bananas. You knew Hingorani was going to be aggressive. I mean, leopards don't change their spots, folks. He is one of the most aggressive drivers in the field. And you knew he's got a good memory. He's got a really good memory. He remembered how Mason Massey moved him up the racetrack, the restart prior to, and he sure tried to repay the favor down there on that last restart. Opened the door for Taylor Mayhew. Mayhew gave Hingorani a little shove. Hingorani was giving Massey a little shove. Meanwhile, Bubba Nascimento was stacking it 3 wide. And that may end up being one of the calmer late race restarts. So 2 drivers will start alongside on the front row, each looking for their first ever Arca Menards Series West victory in their first ever Arca Menards Series West start. Bill McAnally Racing looking for win 101 with this young man, Mason Massey, behind the wheel. And boy, what a turn of fortune it would be after a frustrating 2025 season for Bill McAnally to come back with a vengeance and go to victory lane. And what can you say about this young man, Taylor Mayhew, in the 17? Of course, the 15-year-old son of multiple-time West Series winner David Mayhew, making his first ever series start. So they'll bring Julian DaCosta's number 25 car into the infield on the access road down the backstretch. Safety crew will get that area, the incident area on the backstretch right there. Finish their cleanup, and we should get set to go back. Green flag racing. We will have 2 laps to go. And lane choice for the leader, never more critical. You know, I'm going to hop back in the Wayback Machine and take myself back a couple of weeks to the World Series of Asphalt. My partner and I, Adam Mackey, calling some of those races at New Smyrna Speedway, and many times at New Smyrna, the outside lane is the lane of choice on a mid-race restart. But when you get down to the end of the race, as I always say, 8 wheels tend to turn a lot better than 4. And when you're on the inside lane, you get to determine when that turn starts, and you get the benefit of 4 extra wheels to help you turn. I think we're going to see whoever starts on that inside lane with the advantage on this overtime restart. And I will be surprised, I will be shocked if Mason Massey does not restart this race from that inside lane.
Down near Huntington Beach, and the number 13 ride. Good return back for the Fidelity Capital.
Eric Johnson Jr. picking up the free pass. He will join the tail end of the lead lap. Anything could happen here, folks. Eric Johnson Jr. back at 16th. He could find his way up into a top 10 finish. We see the level of chaos on this last restart that we've seen on the previous restarts. It might just happen. So we should be coming back to 1 to go. Mason Massey, the leader. Taylor Mayhew in second. Sean Hingorani dominated all race long. Has fallen back to third.
They're still side by side down the back straightaway. Turn 3 and 4 is anyone's guess. We're going to go 1 to go on the flag stand, race fans.
Eric Nascimento in the number 4 in fourth. Trevor Huddleston and Hailie Deegan will align back there in row 3. Jade Evanizian and Joey East, both of those drivers have been in the top 5 for most of the night tonight. Everybody now, and look at this. Mason Massey to the outside. This could be exactly what Taylor Mayhew was looking for. Mason Massey to the outside lane for the restart. He is going to need to get a solid jump to make sure he is well ahead of that 17 car of Taylor Mayhew down into turn 1. Rolling to the restart line off of turn 4. Green flag back in the air. Mayhew in the 17. Did he get to that restart line a little too soon? To the inside. Coming to the white flag. We're going to have the restart under review. Caution flag going to come out. Caution flag going to come out. Jaden Reyna in the 42. Sideways over in turns 3 and 4, and that will get us a chance to take a look at that last restart. Officials looking to see if Taylor Mayhew may have gotten to that restart line a tick too quick. Let's see if we can take a look at that last restart. Officials want to take a look at whether Taylor Mayhew beat Mason Massey to the line. And it is the second line on the racetrack. Let's take one more look at it. Take one more look at it. Not this line, the next line. And that is a close call, folks. That is a close call. And it is a day like today that I am happy I am in the commentary booth and not in race control. I would not want to have to make that call. And we'll see what Brian Sanders and the rest of the race officiating team have to say on that restart. Brian Sanders, Randy Brackett, and the crew saying that restart was good. But I'll tell you what, that was as close as it is ever going to get. There is what put us under the caution flag. Jaden Reyna in the 42 car, Taylor Mayhew's teammate, getting sideways. Well, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here on this restart. I knew we were going to see some chaos, and we did. I think we're in for some more. I think we're in for some more. That was as close a call as you were going to get on that restart. The rule is the lead driver must get to the restart line first. Doesn't matter if it's by an inch or a foot or a car length. Has to get to that restart line first, and it is the line with the cone down to the inside. And race control clarifying the white flag had not been displayed. He was reaching for the white flag. Joe Contreras reaching for the white flag, did not get it out. So we will go green, followed by white, followed by checkered. Still a 2-lap restart. There's the cone down to the inside in turn 4. That is the official restart line.
Do you feel the tension here? Do you feel that tension of the front row? It is all about the restart. You got to nail it at the line. And that was a close call for Taylor Mayhew there.
Joe Contreras with the furled yellow flag signifying we will go racing next time around. And again, Mason Massey to the outside. Feels like he probably had a pretty good restart that last attempt. Let's see if he can replicate it. Taylor Mayhew also had a pretty good restart there. We'll see if he's able to match his performance on that last restart. Everybody in the top 5 rows in the same position, coming back to green. 2 laps to go. Green flag, followed by white flag, followed by the checkered. Mason Massey, the leader, coming to the green flag. Taylor Mayhew to his inside. 2 laps to settle it here in overtime number 2. And look at that. 17 spins the tires. Hingarani looking to the inside. He's going to try to make it 3 wide down into turn 1. Mayhew trying to get to the back bumper of the 19. Massey stretching out the advantage down the backstretch. All kinds of contact there between Huddleston and Hingarani. Coming to the white flag. Final time around here in Bakersfield. Look at Eric Nascimento in the number 4, battling for second with Taylor Mayhew. Massey down the backstretch, looking for his first ever Arca Menards Series West win in his first ever start. He's going to get it done. Bill McAnally Racing scoring victory number 101. Give it to Mason Massey here in Bakersfield. And we're wrecking after the checkered flag. Wow. What a finish as the fireworks explode off of turn 2. Mason Massey in his first ever Arca Menards Series West start, going to victory lane. And what a performance by Eric Nascimento in that number 4 car to steal second place on that final lap.
Check.
Taylor Mayhew. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. It almost happened. Taylor Mayhew with an impressive series debut as well. Coming home in 3rd. Wow. What a race. What a race here at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. And I'll tell you what, you think that was exciting. I think we're going to hear a little more excitement from the young man in that cockpit. We're going to send it down trackside to Tim Huddleston.
The Oil Workers 150 presented by the West Coast Stock Car Hall of Fame. Season opener for the next stop will be at Phoenix Raceway in just a few days. And fans, once the driver of the 19 climbs out, we need all of you to make as much noise for that TV audience, make them jealous that they're not here with us. But they set up the stage here. I see the Menards roof sign, the checker flags on top, the crew coming to victory lane to be ready to do a bit of a bow for your winner. And looking over here.
Can we wait for our spotter to get down?
No, we got TV right now. We're on TV. We can celebrate. Ready?
All right, Tim, you got victory lane. Let's hear from your winner.
Here we are tonight with your winner, Mason Massey, picking up the win tonight. He's having trouble getting out of the car. Confetti everywhere, water. He's having a good time. First time winner in the Arca Menards series. Driving for Bill McAnally Racing. It's crazy down here. We got confetti. We got stuff everywhere. Mason, dude, you're at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway picking up your first win in the Arca Menards series in Bill McAnally's car. Doesn't get any better than this.
I don't think it does, man. Just got to thank all these guys and Ty Joyner. Just all these guys work super hard at BMR. Have to thank Mongoose Power Solutions at Bryant. Just everyone in Napa. Just really appreciate this opportunity from Mr. McAnally. I mean, had a hot rod tonight thanks to Ty. He freaking got this baby going. So it was a lot of fun out there.
Well, let me tell you, when I heard you had Ty in your corner, you had somebody, and you, sir, made it happen. You put all the pieces together. Bill McAnally, synonymous with winning, but it takes a driver, and you got it done tonight in your very first win. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, come on, fans. Make some noise. Mason Massey. Congrats, dude. All right, we got wedding pictures. It's going to be crazy. Get the crowd involved.